This is Pro Series Off Topic.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Pro Series Off Topic. This is episode 36. This is actually the second time I'm recording this episode because some reason my microphone just doesn't want to work today. But let's try this again. I'm going to do it from my phone. Let's see how this works. But I have two main topics to talk about today. The first one being what I posted this week as World of Design. If you have questions on that, basically what that is I've known Rebecca Hayes from Rebecca Hayes Design and Adrian Ramsey for I want to say 2 years now. I've had them both on the Pro Series, the main Pro Series, and I've been on both of their podcasts. And over the years, we kind of share podcast guests, and I introduced them for each other. So they've both been on each other's podcast, and I think it was last winter. Adrian kind of made up the idea of doing like some type of round table. He's always wanted to do an in-person round table, but if you haven't read the post, Adrian Ramsey is from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, and Rebecca Hayes is from Vancouver, Canada. So we're in 3 different parts of the world, so that whole round table thing is going to be, postponed until we could actually figure out that Adrian's kind of in charge of trying to figure that all out. But we last month we finally got around to recording this. It was an hour and a half or an hour and 40-minute episode of us just talking about design in our areas and the similarities that all 3 countries have. Sometimes we think that our industry is very different in different areas, but it's really just trends that are different because the business itself is the same, and it's kind of cool to see the relation between the 3 different countries. So we kind of talk about all of that. The episode is going to be split into 3. So the collaboration part of it is basically the part 1 will be on Adrian Ramsey's podcast, Talk Design. And then part 2 will be on Rebecca Hayes' podcast, Resilient by Design. And then part 3 will be on my podcast, Pro Series. So that will all be up on January 9th. So you want to listen to it in order or it won't make sense. So I have that order on there, but we will also explain it in the podcast episode on the intros and outros. So if you accidentally listen to part 2 or part 3 first, you know what you did wrong. So that will be coming out January 9th. My second topic I want to come out with is my CanvasRebel interview came out earlier this week. I just didn't have time to post about it, but I'm finally able to talk about it and post about it. CanvasRebel is a really cool website, and they have a podcast there. It's a really cool company. It's basically, the reason I said yes when they reached out was their mission and purpose for the whole CanvasRebel is basically exactly how I view Pro Series. It's to interview and talk to a bunch of entrepreneurs and creatives that aren't like hugely mainstream, but I don't want to say normal, but like living and grinding hard, and it's just made to relate to other people that maybe feel unheard or very insecure with their business or what they're doing in their business life. So it was just a no-brainer to do. I talk about a couple different topics. One topic of me being hacked is something I've already talked about on this podcast that it might be repetitive for you, but I go a little bit more in detail of that. But the big topic I talk about is talking about how to ask friends and family for support your business and different scenarios that I have dealt with or I have found difficult in that topic. I know that's something entrepreneurs and small business owners struggle with a lot, and I've talked about it a little bit on my social media, but kind of dive in deeper on my thinking on it. So go ahead. I'm going to have the link in the podcast description and in the social media description for this interview, and go check out all the other interviews at CanvasRebel. They are I'm sure you could find someone that is like you. It is a really cool website, really cool what they're doing. I really love it. And they take suggestions too. So if you want to see someone on and get interviewed, you scroll all the way down to my article and it says, suggest a story here, and click on it and just suggest someone. It's a really awesome platform I'm glad to be part of. But that's all I have for topics this week. And country music, again, being the end of the year, no real new country music coming out. So I'm going to talk about the top five. Number 5 is Chris Stapleton, White Horse. Number 4, Dan and Shay, Save Me the Trouble. Number 3, they're sticking it out in the top 5 for as long as it possible, is Jelly Roll and Lainey Wilson for Save Me. And number 2, George Burge, Mind on You. And the new number 1 this week, up from 2 of last week, is Nate Smith with World on Fire. This is his second number 1, which is awesome for him. He's a great artist. I really liked his debut album. His song Sleeve is great. So if you're a fan of his, or if you're not, just go check that song out. It's a great song. But that's all I have this week. It's Christmas week, so I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. This week on Pro Series, we have a duo that will be on the episode. It's a husband and wife, and they're real estate investors, a real estate broker, and they kind of talk about a really cool idea on how to invest in real estate when you don't really have a lot of money, which seems like a no-brainer, but I never thought about it, and it's such a genius idea. So I'm excited to get that out and have everybody listen to that. But hope you have a great Christmas week. We will talk next week. And that's all.